Hi guys. I had to go. I had to go back to bed this morning. I was yawning so badly. I just totally knackered. Um, Regarding, I'm at the same point where I was with the £2 coins. Really, I've got to start using this money rather than keep pretending people are going to buy these coins because, as you're seeing by my posts, that it's sort of irrelevant, really. These coins are in such a proportion that we're being fed these crap coins from the Royal Mint. You know, um, if anybody wants crap, all they got to do is look at my posts and realise what they've got. Anyone could do this with the £1 coins and the 1997, 98 £2 technology coins. But even the whole swathe, it's the same thing again. You can't pick an area of coins that haven't got this rubbish. The one thing, as I've said all along, that stands out is if you're buying coins, it's going to help. Well, yeah, it's got to help you, and understand that you're really, if you wanted to start collecting coins and via proof or mint sets, which are supposed to be the best because that's what the Royal Mint produce. That's the only way you're going to get so-called perfection, like this coin that's on the screen now. You can see why the brains died. Why collecting is dying because you're being forced to do it rather than wanting to do it. You know, it's really exceptional to find coins in your change that are anywhere near perfection. And how my posts have started, and because of the fake coin dilemma, which basically is exactly the same as what the Royal Mint are doing by producing different grades of coin for a money making trough. Yeah, it's a bit like the motorists when we read the news. The motorist is just a cash cow for making money for the government. Well, this is the same principle. Exactly the same principle. However, if I was to show you my own collection of pound coins, you can get coins under the quote BU, brilliant uncirculated, but but which are in circulation rather than uncirculated. You know, when I think of what I've done over the last, let's say the last 6 months, because we're in July now. Last 6 months, it's a work of perfection to imperfection. Because what I've got in my pocket is nothing like what I see on screen. or very rarely anyway. Um, so there's no real point in me keeping coins that I think people might be interested in. Um, as I say right at the beginning of this video, that you can get these coins every day. if you was to keep getting change in your pocket, and it's pound coins, you'd get bogged down. Um, it's just beyond a joke. It's good. It's good seeing it in action. And like I was able to do with the 2015-2016 excuse me, the 2015-2016 Britannia coins, it was so obvious, blindingly obvious, where these errors, or as they were called, imperfections, would arise. And I proved that. It cost me a little bit of money, but it's proved it without a shadow of a doubt. So who's the fools? And this whole premise of fake coins, China making these implosion of coins that we're supposed to be able to check with the new security features and blah blah blah. You're fed all this rubbish, and it's a total joke. Look at the size of this coin. Look at the size of this coin for you to be able to read this writing, this security writing, which you can't read. I'd like to know what the eyesight figures are. You'd have to be so brilliantly spot on with eyesight, it beggars belief. I mean, I can read that, and my eyes are not good. Okay, so if you start reducing that, you're going to end up at a point where you're going to end up to be the same size as a pound coin. It's incredible. It really is incredible. And I don't know where to move on from here. Because I think you've heard me become like this with the £2 coins. I became so despondent with having not only collected coins but gone to the bank and purchased bags of coins, £2 coins, and it's the same principle. If you're doing like what people do online on their channels, which is to buy coins for the special coins, that's a different thing altogether. That's what coin collecting is. That's its thing. To get coins in your change that are near perfection. That's the whole point of it. And some people, and I've always said this with eBay, you can't say it so much now, but I always said, if you list an item at 99p or a pound, that the market will pay what it's worth. Okay? But now you can't, because eBay, in its wisdom, and this started decades ago, probably the late 2000, say up to 2010, so 15 years ago, no, it's more than that. It's further back than that. eBay started in 1993, 94, depending where you are in the globe. Um, it was probably 5 years. So yes, no, it is close to 2000. It is close to 2000, and they continually, they continually strive to not only be money making, but to be fair, and the two don't mix. The two are not the same thing, because you come back to the same principle with the Royal Mint. And the biggest scam of not fake coins, but letting coins enter the usage of the common person, whereby these coins have been sent out with errors. Um, there must, when you look at this with this 20 pence piece and the missing date, I've the 2008, isn't it? 2008 20p piece, missing date, which is some 17 years old. I think 2008, 2018 is 10 years. And then you've got 10 years. So 17, 2008 to 2018 is 10 years. 2018 to 25 is 7. So 17 years. So it's 17 years. Of that error. The figures they give out, I can only assume, must be poppycock, because if they know that, then they know how it happened. And if they know how it happened, why didn't they stop it? These coins aren't produced oh no, my brain's gone dead. These coins are produced and they don't enter the system just bang like that. They're not just made and put into the system bang. They're bagged up and put into crates and geez knows what else for distribution. And so there is a time factor. They must have some sort of what's the word for them? Cool, even I went for a job once with it. My mind is completely blank. Security keeps coming up in my mind, but it's not security. It's what the name is for people that check coins. Flipping heck. You can see why I'm unemployable, because this is how I get. Quality control. Oh, jeez. You don't know how hard that was. They must have a quality control, which I would assume now, with the digital world being what it is, computers do this. But obviously not in 2008. It's not that hard to understand, is it? It really isn't. So the whole thing, as far as I'm concerned, is a scam. Um, is the amount they say that entered circulation is watered out, not watered down. It's watered out because they want you to believe that these coins still are in circulation when probably not, because most collectors will have purchased them at a nice rate of money, an overinflated rate, just for the privilege, you know. And if you listen to those words, that's exactly what the Royal Mint do all the time. You know, it's geared to make money, and even if you look at it at its best, there's few people that um, who probably bought these coins for an extreme amount of money. And I'm not saying extreme. I'm just thinking, a 20p coin can sell for at the moment, a 20p non-date 2008 will probably pick up £90 to £100. That's still a vast profit on a 20p coin. You know, it's incredible, and all these things, errors, like this thing with the Queen's head. If you flip it over, it's on a different axis, and if the inscription around the edge is the right way up or not, and they poo-poo this, yet they're producing it. Is that not insane? There's nothing about humans that makes sense. It's just beyond belief. But anyway, I'm going to go through this batch that I've just recently done, and I'm going to see how many coins I'm going to save. I did it yesterday when I made my, no, not yesterday, but early this morning with you, that I was just going for one thing on a coin, which is this trunk and the crown, either one being a planchet. I'll go for planchets because, as far as I'm concerned, they are, although they're common, they're not the common factor. Because if you turn the coin around, to this, you've got three elements that stand out. Now, in actual fact, it is three. Yeah, it is. It's three elements that stand out. There's nothing much can go wrong with the security feature or the £1, other than the fact it's so. Or no, not the. I shouldn't say that. With the security feature, because it's so finite that you can't see it anyway. So what a waste of time that is. Who are these micro security readings? Who are they actually made for? Is it the banks or is it us? Because if it's for us, it's a waste of time. It's a complete and utter waste of time. And if it's the banks, then you know that what they're admitting is there's going to be fakes straight away. So what's the point of us knowing? You might not, why announce that it's such a security feature and it's going to stop fakes and all the rest of it, but it's a load of old baloney. It's a load of old baloney. But this side does have three elements. but there's only well, there's two that really stand out from the three, which is the Shamrock and the Leek. They all produce errors, but I don't like to go by that. I prefer to go by this Queen's Head. It's something that you can see in a proof set or a mint set or a BU set or whatever. It's something that stands out straight away as an error, and it sort of proves the two sides how futile that was as well, because in their concept they've created this axis error, the way a coin sits from being a blank to being produced. So we've moved from a coin being simple, one design, one metal, which is how it used to be. I don't know the inception of the bimetallic coin, but it's just a waste of time. It's given them scope to make more errors. Really, when you think about it logically. So that's where I'm at the moment. I'm a bit chuffed off now. And this is what's happened. See, every time I go out and come home with my change, after doing the 5p's, I'm just building up more 5p's on my desk. There's loads of them. In the vein of hope that someone would like to collect them. It's the same as the £1. The only thing is you're going to be looking at more money because it's a pound. And it's, you can't have pounds stacking up like I've got. It's, it's money that needs to be spent. As far as I'm concerned, they're entering back into the domain they came from. The coin that I did this morning, 2017, atrocious coin, absolutely atrocious coin. If I ever thought that the 20p's were crude, that £1 coin this morning was beyond that. It was way beyond that. It had the best double heading I've ever seen. Huge double heading. But that was about the only thing that was really clearly visible. All the rest, it was just so beaten up. It was unreal. Well, as you've hopefully seen, it was unreal. It is unreal. I've put that in my we'll try it to sell. Because it really does prove the principle of the premise of a fake coin. It's hit home. If you look at posts on YouTube about this fakery, and they admit that there is so many of them, it's really hard for them to tell which are fakes. Now, isn't that contradictory? So they've made these £1 and £2 coins with all these bimetallic metals and security features, etc., etc., etc. And now they can't even tell the difference between them and fakes, or the fakes and them. It's beyond a joke. It is beyond a joke. As far as I'm concerned, there should be an uproar. There should be an uproar. It really should. I can't. I can't, without swearing, put it any other way. So you got all this criteria. I can't remember how many it was on the £2 coin, but it's something like 6 points. Whereas the pound coin, the world's your oyster, it goes up to 8, I think, 8 or 9. There's 9 points of error. Or no, that's not right. No, I can't say that. It's not 9 points of error. 9 points of production you can choose from in any one coin. 9 points. Let's take 8. Let's not make it so much. Or let's even make it 6. The top 6 points to tell whether you've got a fake coin. And actually you can't. It's not the premise of what you're being told or sold is actually the reason why there's so much fakery. Because they can't tell themselves without making out all these excuses and doing all this lab technology. You got to put in your coin into and it's got to be paid for them to do this for. See how the machinery works. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It really is. And like I'm saying now, I've got probably £300 worth of pound coins, and I would assume that 90% of those coins are wrong in their own production. Of their own production. 90%. Just let that figure sink in, because it's not one picked out of the sky. I've shown you why. And actually, when I get to this point, I'm just thinking about what is it I've done? What is it I've achieved? Am I telling you something that you've already known but you accept? You just accept because it's a coin, Or is, if you want to look at it from a dark way, is this all going to be an excuse as to its demise? The coin's demise? The pound, the plastic money we got now, is that all going to be under the same premise? Oh, we got to go digital. Which in itself will be manipulated by con people. But this is what the elite want. The elite wants all this money making, as we're talking now, about proof sets, premium sets, BU sets, mint sets, coins not for legal tender, and it goes on. It's pathetic at its best. And criminal at its worst. I'm at the end now. But I've only done, how many coins have I done? 10 and 6, 16 coins. And my conclusion is that it's pointless. It's pointless. All I've done is bring into your attention the areas where these errors accrued. So, from my point of view, you've got 5 things to look for on the pound coin, and it doesn't include the security features. Well, it does. It does include security feature, but it doesn't. The micro writing, it doesn't include that because that's just pointless. It's pointless. You know, I think there was only 2 coins this morning out of those 16 that that I would spend if I was a collector. That's out of 16 coins, 2 are the only ones that I'll put back in my pocket. So that says it all, really, doesn't it? 2 out of 16. And they still had things wrong with them. I'm just picking out 5 points of a coin. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. I'm glad I've done it. It's been an interesting learning curve. Because, when I think back to when I used to collect coins in their sets, none of this ever entered my head. I was completely and utterly naive. It was the same with stamps, and when I was made aware of Cinderellas, as they're called, in one sense I was glad that I found it and the knowledge was given to me. But on the other end, all the stamps that I'd bought that were actually fake, but were legally, no, not legally, it's not illegally, it's, what is it? Accepted that these stamps can be produced to look like stamps, yet they're not, because they're either illegal in as much as the creator to make money, because they're not even